Miscellaneous minds, never explaining the minds. Devilish grin for my alias, aliens who respond. Peddling sin, thinking maybe when you get old you realize I'm not gonna fold or demise. I don't smoke crack, motherfucker, I sell it.
Like more intense than you thought it might.
Definitely.
Really?
Sorry.
Okay. Just take
Yeah, 1 minute.
What is going on, everybody? This is the Miscellaneous Minds Podcast. I'm your co-host, Pumagato, the cat that hands you your potential record back. And to my left over here is the main man. He's Houston there, the man that makes the fat stacks. Together we form the dynamic duo that won't die. Deadly ideas, but spicier content than your girl's OnlyFans.
What is going on, everybody? Before we get into tonight's topic, please make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit. And with that, let's get right into it. Since my man here brought up OnlyFans, let's talk about someone that's been in the news, e-news, other news, mainstream news for some weird reason. Lily Phillips. Lily Phillips went viral because she is the woman who decided to smash 100 men in the course of 24 hours.
No punches. Everybody.
After she did it, she was seen in a news article crying, saying that this isn't for the weak. You have to be a strong woman to be able to do what she's doing, and so on and so forth. Basically saying that she regrets a lot of what she's doing. A couple days later, she's like, I'm still going to go for the 1,000 in 24 hours. Listen, man, it's weird to me. Like, I don't care if people want to do this type of stuff. Like, look, listen, whatever floats your boat, look, listen, do it. I don't care. As long as you ain't hurt nobody, I don't care. My problem with the whole thing is, like, listen, people don't understand the psychological damage that this type of stuff does to you. And she's essentially doing it for clout. Yeah, money as well. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's a lot of people paying for her OnlyFans and stuff like that. But listen, the mere fact that you admitted that you had a lot of regrets after this first one, and that you, I don't know how to put this, but that you're emotionally damaged, as by seeing in that video, it's crazy to me that you're now going to try 10 times what you did. It's wild to me because we've gotten so far removed from what we should be doing in life that this type of stuff is not only on mainstream news or being talked about by stuff like e-news and stuff like that she's being promoted all over the place for what? Like, how is this something to be proud of? And listen, again, if that's the type of thing you want to do, that's fine. I have no problem with it. The reason that I have a problem is because you did it right, and then you admitted that you're having not just regrets, but it's emotionally damaged you, as by seeing in that video. And you're like, but yeah, okay, but I'm still gonna go for 1,000 in 24 hours. And again, listen, the only reason people do this is for attention. People have lost the point of doing these things so much that it's gone beyond just, hey, look, I'm doing this for a payday. I'm doing this for, to become famous. Like, all the things that people used to aspire for. People are like, nah, I just want the attention. I want people to talk about me. And that's crazy because it's not even money. People are going for something even or less. You remember like back in the day how you used to have the freak shows? Like, they used to have the bearded ladies, or like the man that would swallow swords, or like, I don't know, like a pig boy or something, all that stuff, like the freak shows, right? We call them freak shows. Now people are doing it and getting respect from everybody in society, which is freaking weird to me. These things that used to be sideshows and circus, these things that used to be like, oh, why would anybody do that? We're now, fully embracing it as part of regular society. Like, it's no big thing. And listen, I will say this, though. I've seen a number of women, which is surprising to me, because normally all you hear is the hurrah, hurrah, of women just supporting another woman, even if it's stupidity that's supporting, just because, hey, we have to support women. So to see a number of women say, I'm disgusted, to see a number of women that normally say, hey, look, I'm pro-woman, I believe, women should have equal pay, so on and so forth. They believe a number of liberal ideas. To see those same women also come out and say, look, but this isn't it, man. This isn't it. Makes me a little happy. Maybe, society's turning a corner here. But the fact that we're just like applauding this, not even just applauding it, but like so many outlets that I'm surprised would cover this type of thing have been covering it. It's insane to me. It's crazy. Shout out to that girl's dad, man, because I'm sure he's getting just as beat up as her did. What do you think about that, my man?
Listen, man, there is a lot of things to unpack about this, and I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start first and foremost the actual act of itself, which I don't think she thought all the way through. Now, for context, Lily Allen is about 23 years old. Now, I'm not saying this excuses her from any actions whatsoever. Again, she's an adult. She can do what you want. My thing is, you didn't really think about the ramifications of the act on two levels. From an emotional standpoint, which granted, nobody ever really thinks about, and two, physical. Now, before you get ahead of me, I'm going to explain the second one in a little bit. Now, I don't think anybody realizes that anything, or at least sex in such an excess like that, 100 men in 24 days, that's got to desensitize you at the very least a little bit. And again, the fact that she was crying in the video interview that she was taking, meant to me that at least it took it took a wrecking to her emotional state as well. I think, look, at some point she said something about the fact that it basically just became a bit too robotic for her, and that the whole thing was kind of meaningless. And look, you can take sex however you want it. My thing at the end of the day is, look, hoeing as a phase, that's fine. If you want to do that, you're well within your rights to do so. Just be aware of the dangers that lie in it, both emotional and physical. And as long as you get out of it and that's not your permanent state of being, you should be fine. As long as it's just a phase and it's not a permanent state of being, do whatever you want. As long as you don't harm anybody, do what you got to do. That second part of that sentence is very important. As long as you're not hurting anybody, do what you got to do. And the reason I bring that up is because apparently in I believe it was a separate interview, she actually explained the process of, how exactly did she go about doing this? Is it just inserted in, or was there some kind of like lead up to the event? I'm trying to be as family friendly as I can be. But Lily Allen basically described the process of, I start performing, a separate act, and then we put on the condom, and then we, have a go at it. To which the interviewer said something along the lines of, wait, you didn't try foreplay with like a condom on beforehand? I was like, aren't you afraid you're going to get STDs or anything like that? Like HIV, something? Like you're not afraid you're not going to contract something? To which Lily Phillips then asked, wait, is that how you get it? And I'm like, yo, and keep in mind, she's admitted that after the day that she did this, she contracted 3 STDs. And the fact that she didn't know that that's what condoms are used for beyond just not having kids, that's insane to me. Look, that already in and of itself basically means that more than a couple dudes in there probably contracted it after doing this. And look, I'm not gonna excuse those men. If anything, I'm also gonna shame them. Why were you a part of this social experiment? Somebody told you, I'm about to have sex with 100 men in 24 days, and you take them up on that offer? You're going to be one of those dudes that decides to go in after that? They're not excused from this. It's disgusting. Why would you go after that sort of thing? And granted, look, if you're the type to go after loose women, that's fine. But you have to be aware of the potential risks that come with doing that. You can't be just like, she's going to do it to other men. I'm going to be completely fine if I'm doing it. No. That's gross, first of all. Second, the fact that she wasn't aware that that's how STDs are contracted. I'm like, dog, not only are you messing yourself over emotionally, but physically as well. And not only are you bringing yourself into this, now you got other people implicated in this. Look, this challenge already is on a bunch of levels, A, disgusting, and B, she doesn't know the ramifications of what's going to go happen to this. And look, the last point I want to bring up is, look, at a certain point, sex becomes kind of vapid. Like there's no joy to be found if you do something in such wild excess like that. And look, you don't think, like, I came up with, even Andrew Tate said at some point sex just becomes boring. Sex becomes a vapid black hole. And the fact that some people still aren't aware that happens when you deal with it in excess, yo, dog, it's insane to me. The amount of damage that this woman has unfortunately done, not just to herself, but the fact that she also brought potentially 100 people into this and potentially damaged their bodies as well, and they don't even know about it. It is insane to me, the amount of damage it is done. And she's looking to go for 1,000. She's looking to go for 1,000 men and trying to implicate in this. Yo, dog, this is insane. This is mad disgusting, bro.
Let me correct some of the things you said a second ago because you were wrong about a couple of them. It wasn't her that said, "Oh, that's where you get them from." It was her filmmaker. He was unaware apparently that that's how you get HIV. She did say she was planning on making all the men that are participating using condoms, but she later afterwards admitted that things didn't go as planned. So there was a potential. I don't think there was anything confirmed that she got anything. There was just, potentially that something could have been spread. So let me just clean those things up there. But the one thing you were wrong about, and the one thing that she even admits to, is that she's like, look, somewhere in between the act, I disassociate. So it's like she's not even there mentally. That's emotionally damaging to you, whether you want to admit it or not, whether women want to admit this or not. It's emotionally damaging to you when you sleep with that many people. And here's the thing: I know people aren't gonna like this, but it's mostly when it comes to women. It's one of those scenarios where the part of your brain that releases dopamine, that releases those chemicals that make you feel good about, that stops releasing as much. So you literally start becoming like a robot. You literally start becoming this thing that no longer associates sex with a happy thing. It just becomes a manual thing to do. So you're correct about that. She's damaging herself mentally. And again, for what? What's the point? Especially because, listen, I'm no fan of Lena Rhodes, man. She has said a number of things that I disagree with. And even though she said, I'm never going to do porn, she's essentially doing porn again. You might not be doing it, on these websites, but she's doing it for herself. So there's a number of things that she says and that I don't agree with. Same thing with Riley Reid. There's a number of things that they've all said that I don't agree with. But they're now on the offense of saying, look, listen, what I did was terrible. And mind you, these are two of the most popular workers in their industry. So for someone like Lily Phillips to be doing this, even though she knows she literally has people to go to and talk to about this, that'll tell her, hey man, this is probably not a good idea. It's insane to me that people are applauding this type of thing. It's crazy because, again, listen, I don't care what you want to do in life. If that's what you want to do, fine, do you. But then later on, don't cry, as Lena Rhodes did, as Riley Reid is currently doing, about what you did because you chose to do it over and over and over again. And not only did people tell you while you were doing it, this is probably not good for you. It's probably not mentally healthy for you. You're like, nah, you don't know what you're talking about. You did it. It's funny because those, Lena Rhodes, Riley Reid, complain about, their kids, on their comments, basically saying, your kid's going to be bullied, blah, 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 blah. And they complain about that. Look, go leave my kid out of it. No, everyone told you this was going to happen. I don't care. Listen, I don't care how anybody in the world, the nice people in the world, are going to try and picture this. Like, people just need to let women be women. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with, as a human being, it's mentally not good for you. People need to stop trying to be so PC and really tell people the consequences of their action, because we've gotten out to a place where someone, I'm not going to mention the name, an individual who is in a very powerful seat of power, was never told you're wrong, was never told what you're doing is not appropriate, so on and so forth. And now people are like, hey, everything you do is inappropriate. He doesn't care because that person was never told what you're doing is wrong. You guys are doing the same thing to these corn workers. You're telling them what you're doing is perfectly fine. And the problem is that it's not. Mentally, again, I don't care if you want to do it. I'm sure there's plenty of corn stars that'll go out there and say, look, I had a great time in the industry. I loved it. I have nothing bad to say. That's fine. That's fine. But these are the people that are taking it to extreme depths. Go back and watch some of the interviews of what Lena Rhodes says that she had to do in the industry. She took it to the edge of the industry and it mentally messed her up. Lily Phillips is doing the same thing. Lily Phillips is doing the exact same thing. She's taking it to the very edge of the industry, and because of that, it's gonna mess her up mentally. We need to stop applauding this type of thing. We need to stop giving it attention. And I'll be honest with you, I often tell women, hey, look, this is where you're fucking up. I'll tell men, this is your fault too. In fact, it might be more your fault than it is the women's fault, because yes, the women are basically egging her on, but you as men are purchasing the product. Stop purchasing the product, because these women are being mentally damaged whether you want to believe it or not. And with that, make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit, and
Rest and stay blessed. We'll see you in the next one.